Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Qmenera, an Experience Points podcast. We're an all-queer cast Numenera podcast. I'm Kenny, the cast member who plays the lovable and simple lad Hillian. If you love our show, we hope you'll rate us and review us on iTunes or wherever you consume your podcasts. Every review makes Kelric, the GM and producer's eyes, sparkle, and helps new listeners to find us. We don't pay to advertise any of the podcasts on the Experience Points network, so we hope you'll recommend us to your friends and just about anyone. Did you know that we had a Patreon? We are grateful to everyone who's already become a patron. You keep our mics on and our dice rolling. We've got some great rewards, so check them out at patreon.com/experiencepoints.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Qmenera. I'm Kelric, your narrator, who is still learning how to use GM intrusions, as certain of my cast members have recently reminded me. My pronouns are he, him, and this is my fabulous cast. Jess?
I'm Jess. My pronouns are she, her, and I would never have been the one to remind him about GM intrusions because I am fine with them not happening. I'm playing Tiyune, a mechanical nano who rides the lightning, and her pronouns are also she, her.
Hello, I am Aaron, and I'm definitely the one that reminded Kelric of the GM intrusions because I love it when misfortune happens and I get to level up really fast. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm playing Railu, who is a graceful glaive who speaks with a silver tongue, and their pronouns are also.
Hi, my name is Kenny, and I am playing Hillian Jasa, an earnest Jack who howls at the moon. My pronouns are he, they, and Hillian's pronouns are he, him.
Wonderful, and I believe Railu has our update from last time.
It's about time that we finally got off the road. I'm so tired of traveling through these decrepit woods. We finally made it to Ephremon, and honestly, it's about time I'm back in the city. The market was brilliant, and after an amazing ploy between me and Tiyune, we were able to sell off one of an inn that we found and get some money. So that way we can finally have a place to stay and some comfort. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you are, we found our way to Gesten, which is who we came here looking for. And he gave us some options, thankfully for Hillian, and we were able to send our reports back. Who knows what his intentions are, but he seems well enough. And if Tiyune can stop arguing with him, we might actually get some stuff done.
Gesten feels the same way. Where we are picking up is, I'm assuming you all have slept at Gesten's, and it's the next morning. So, let's start with Hillian. Hillian, you wake up, and what's it like as you are getting closer to your Hillian stage when you wake up in the mornings?
I believe Hillian is pretty much constantly hungry. And if they are not eating something, they are talking about eating something. And not so much in the terms of flattery and of food. Hillian would be like, "Where's something to eat? I need it now."
All right. Tiyune, what's it like for you waking up in this person's home that you have had these interactions with?
Tiyune doesn't really pay Gesten much mind. Her entire focus basically is on Hillian knowing what's coming. Basically she's just like trailing Hillian around, making sure he doesn't get too far, making sure he doesn't leave Gesten's home, because this is where he needs to be for the transformation.
Okay. And Railu, when you wake up, you will find that you are once again holding this ravage bear claw in your hand, and you've cut yourself a little because it's very sharp. And you've had a dream about your first time running into a ravage bear, and so you're kind of sweat drenched, and there's a bit of anxiety as you wake up. Like, you do not wake up from a restful night.
Do I remember the dream exactly how it happened?
You do not. It's just sort of this, you know how when you wake up and you know you've had a dream about these things, but it's very vague and it starts slipping away from you really quickly? You have that experience where it's like, if I just had something to write this down, I might be able to remember, but as you're doing it, it is slowly fading away, and all you remember is that it was bad and it had something to do with the Ravaged Bear.
So Railu wakes up and they look down and they see this bear claw. And like you said, it was that memory is fleeting from them, that dream is fleeting from them, but they drop it because they pick this up on a whim. And they find something to wipe their hand off and they go to leave and they turn around and they pick it up because for some reason they know that this is relevant and important, and they put it in their pocket and they walk up to it.
Excellent. So the three of you meet up and Gesten is not awake at all. They apparently are a late sleeper, so you can raid the pantry, make breakfast, do whatever you're going to do, and if you all want to have any conversations about your clandestine experiences last night, you're welcome to. Otherwise, we will assume that breakfast is being made by
Tiyune.
Okay, somewhat Tiyune.
Yeah, so like I imagine that while Tiyune's making breakfast, Hillian is like just eating whatever they can get there, or that he can get his hands on from like the cupboards, like raw ingredients, handfuls of flour.
He's eating whatever he can get his hands on from Tiyune. Like even as she's cooking, she keeps like grabbing little pieces and like shoving them to him. Like, here, have this, and like running back over to like finish. Like, and also this. Hold on, I'm almost done.
Hillian at one point just opens his mouth.
Seen the after credit ending from Wreck-It Ralph? It's the pancake thing where that's Hillian. Riley's just there getting like one milkshake every now and then.
That's amazing. Although
Tiyune is not willing to let Hillian be distracted from anything. Like he is staying here. She is not losing track of him in this city.
I do love the idea of Hillian going through and just grabbing 2 handfuls of flour and trying to eat them.
As soon as Tiyune sees that, she's like, and like tries to hand him more actual food.
There's flour everywhere. It's kind of just like caked a bit.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. I love it. Okay, so in walks Gesten on this tableau and is just... and they are reminded of what it's like to have guests in their home. Okay.
When Gesten sees them and like looks around at when Tiyune sees Gesten come in, she'll like look around the mess and be like, I'll clean this up when I'm done cooking. Just let me finish.
Good morning.
And by me, I mean Railu will clean this up. They're not helping to cook.
Like a puff of flour.
He goes, I think it's time for exercise.
Tiyune only makes enough food for 2, maybe 3 if they're going to help Gesten out since they're staying at their home.
She makes enough for Gesten. As soon as Railu says that they're going to go exercise, she scrapes their food back onto Hillian's plate.
That's awesome. You two are amazing.
Riley walks by, hey, you burnt that. Continues.
It smells so good.
Okay, so this amusing little interlude ends, and you bring food to the table. Gesten has gone over to, they come out with a small sheaf of paper from that Railu slid under their door that they have read, which is a slightly different report than was originally given. And they don't say anything. They just go over to the machine where they sent the Numenera thing that they sent the earlier stuff over, and they touch a couple of things, and then they're just sitting there staring at the machine for a while, and it just suddenly, like, they're catching documents as they come out and just placing them down, and they're coming out in a reasonable fashion. They're just going over their notes as you're cooking. And they nod, and they come over to sit at the table with the paper, and they sit down with y'all, and they're like, so, Sounds like last night was a pretty busy night for everyone.
Do we want me in this scene or did I actually leave?
That's up to you.
I mean, I said I did, so I feel like I left.
There's a small courtyard outside, so, I mean, if you hear the cooking end, I mean, because maybe you come back, I don't know, but there's no food for you ready.
Yeah, I feel like I left. I'm going to be honest. I said it. I'm going to commit.
Okay, so they sit down and they're like, so it seems like there was a pretty busy night last night.
Not particularly.
Oh, interesting. And they just take your second report and turn it and push it towards you. So I feel like there were some details left out of what you shared with me, which is fine. I get it. Trust is earned. They obviously don't mean it. They're like, I am technically a superior in the Aeon priesthood. Not even technically, I just am. I have learned to deal with difficult people in the past. It's fine. It's fine. Welcome to my home. This does bring up something interesting. I do think we're going to need your friend to come back. Do you know how long this exercise they spoke of takes?
Probably.
Sometimes hours.
Yeah, probably until someone else cleans up the kitchen. Since that's why they left.
It's exactly how long. I have it timed.
If it's not exercise, they'll be hunting for water. They hunt for water all the time in the morning.
It's a 17-year-old avoiding chores.
I mean, you can go out there and call them back in if you want to talk.
Well, it's really more that Ranvale would like you to get your next assignment. Ranvale is the person who sent you on the assignment you're on, and Railu knows them in particular because Ranvale is the person who they were brought to when they were brought to the Aeon priesthood. So you all know this is actually someone with authority. It's a name you all know, and you know this is not someone to mess with. For everything else you've got going, this is a thing you understand in the world, except Hillian. Because Hillian's...
Oh yeah, Ranville's a nice guy.
And we have it. So, Gesten says, I would like one of the two of you to go get Railu while I organize my thoughts, please. And
I'll go get him.
Nope. And Tiyune like pushes more food in front of Hillian.
Oh, this looks great.
Yeah, wouldn't want to interrupt your breakfast. I'll go get Railu.
I do think I have some more of those mushrooms you like. Wait.
Oh, these would go wonderful with these syrup berries.
I'm going to go get those. Jessica, have Tiyune go get Railu, and let's come back together. All right, so we all just
Please-
back together, or
Please say Tiyune is dragging Railu in by their ear.
Oh, absolutely.
Cutscene, the kitchen is cleaned, and Railu comes back in with,
no, the kitchen is not cleaned.
I tried.
Still eating. No. So, Gesten sits back down with y'all and says, you know, Ranvale has sent some instructions back, which it's going to take them a while to go through your report because there's a lot in here. A device, you destroyed a device that creates Numenera, and that causes, well, there's room for conversation around that at the Aeon priesthood. So the Amber Monolith, Ranvale has sent this, and it's going to take them some time to parse through this, and here is the document that shows that they would like you to help me until they've decided what to do about the situation.
To be fair, we don't know that the device is broken. We simply stopped the villagers from getting access to it.
I believe they're talking about the device that created the Numenera that you are talking about.
Yes, we didn't specifically destroy that. We just made sure that nobody could get into the tree.
Yeah, the tree exploded.
There's going to be some discussion around all of this. Your reports are very interesting. So, with that said, are we going to have any trouble with you all following Ranvale's orders, or are you just going to help me with the things I need help with?
I've always followed Renvale's orders.
I don't really. Yes. Yeah. Of course.
Oh, good. Don't even wait for Hillian. Nobody cares.
Aw.
It's not that Hillian is just going to do what Hillian does, and
Hillian, with his mouth full, emphatically nods yes.
perfect. And that could mean anything. Yes, we'll have problems with you. No, we won't. It's fine. So cool. You've actually. I wish you had shared this with me last night, because then we could have formulated a plan of action that might make today a little easier. But here's where we are, and we will just move forward, because that's what we do. You mentioned in your report that there was a tree that you found to be a Numenera device that took you into this other place that you could just create as much Numenera as necessary. And my friend Milinu, who owns one of the stores, told me that they had someone coming in to sell them a map. I didn't believe that this map would do what they said it did until reading your report, and they basically said that this map would lead you to somewhere where you could create all the Numenera you wanted. I would like to find out how this person got the map. And I would actually like to see the map, because I'd like to see if it coincides with some other reports we've gotten. There have been 4 explosions reported to us through the Baadenu forest. And each of these locations, a representative of the priesthood has gone to and been able to verify that the local wildlife went into hysterics after an explosion was heard, and that there were trees that were exploded, there was fire damage everywhere, and in one case a Juraskar had been killed by splinters from a tree, and its head was shattered. Now, that was only one, so we considered it an outlier. But now with your report, we're wondering if maybe there are other entries to this place that perhaps were not damaged by the explosion, and there might be a way to investigate further. So, I would like for you to find this person and retrieve the map.
It's a pretty dangerous forest. I mean, obviously, you know that. You live here. But what sort of things would we have access to help keep us safe?
Well, I'm asking you to get the map from a person in Ephremon. Not go out into the forest yet. Once we have the map, then we can go to the forest with a plan.
That sounds well enough. But a couple things. Are you concerned about Hegfrid and the device, or is everything?
I have let Ranvale know, and they have said this map is more important. And you can see them, like, they're sitting there, their arms are crossed very tightly, and their leg is just like bouncing up and down as they say this. Obviously distressed, but has been in the priesthood long enough to know this is what they need to be doing, and so they are sending you to do this thing.
Well, far be it from us to argue with Ranville. The other thing that I have a concern about, and what actually might have pertinence to this map, you must have read the bit about the convergence then, how we saw the battery and the note pointing towards here. It's possible the convergence has some sort of base here, and this person could be from them. Is that something we should watch for, or something that you're aware of?
Yes.
Which one? Are they based here and you know of it, or is there just a possibility?
Oh, I'm sorry. That seemed like it was worded as if all of it could be possibilities, and should you be on the watch for it? And yes,
Is there any?
possibility, and you should be on the watch for it.
Is there anything that you know, any intelligence you've had about the convergence activity here?
No, this is a first, which is why I'm sending the three of you, a lovely young team, to try to deal with this. I'm going to stay here, see what I can do about Hegprud.
All right.
Questions?
With his mouth still kind of chewing on something, he's like, would it be possible to take some snacks with?
Of course. Or you can buy some on the way. It does not matter to me.
Yes.
He's a little checked out. Like, he's done what he's had to do. He's given you your job, and now you can see that their mind is obviously drifting, and their eyes are constantly moving around the place, touching on, there's a picture of Hegprud just off to the side, and they're obviously worried about their partner, and much less concerned about you three now that they've given you your job.
So Riley's going to try to console Gesten, and he's going to lean forward and try to get their attention. And if they do, just say, from what you've told us, Hegprud knows what he's doing. Obviously, I don't know, but he must have felt confident enough to take that device to feel that he could handle it. And if anyone knows his skills, it's you and him. Hopefully he's going to return. Everything's going to be okay. The Aeon Priesthood, too, as skilled as you, very little can go wrong. And I'll roll if you want me to.
When you say, oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say if Aaron ends up making a roll for this, I kind of feel like there should be a negative to it, because Tiyune is definitely just sitting behind them, like scoffing and like shaking her head and like making a face like, he dead.
If anything, I should have an asset because he doesn't trust you anyway. Gesten doesn't like you.
That's true. Maybe it should be an asset. That Tiyune's over here like,
I think the two of those cancel out, but Railu saying that what can go wrong where Numenera is concerned?
Very little. It's different.
Gesten has read the description of this device, and I mean, like, they're not dumb. They've been in this a while. They're like, this is a big deal. And
Well, Riley believes it. That's why Riley's like, y'all are skilled with Numenera. You can do this.
yeah, you are going to have disadvantage on this roll. So, what is your typical situation for, let's see, int roll? You're good at social skills. So, this would be, no, let's say it's challenging. It's going to be a difficulty 5. Even trained people often fail at this line. A therapist would have a lot of trouble consoling Gesten about this.
Cool. Well, I have the all social skills, and I'll spend some effort as well.
Okay.
Because, like, Riley doesn't super care if this guy likes them, but also they are just genuinely trying to be like, hey, listen, he's old and skilled. I'm sure it'll be fine. And thanks to leveling up on Numenera, I have an extra edge to intellect now, so I only cost me 2.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So does that bring it down to a 3?
It would bring it down to a 3.
Well, let's get a 20 or 4. Let's get a 4.
Oh.
I got the Will Wheatons, y'all. Let's swear.
That is amazing. All you had to do was tie a 9. You didn't have to beat it. You just had to make a 9.
Joke's on you. You expected too much of me.
Well, honestly, I didn't think it was possible because I was like, ooh, 15. Okay, you brought it down to 12. Okay, that's 9. Yeah, okay, that's nope.
All of the empathy a 17-year-old could muster.
Yeah.
You just see Tiyune behind go, and like Tiyune walks by and she goes, he's dead.
Actually, this is an amazing thing about Numenera, that even a 3 is never guaranteed. Like, it is crazy. So, all right, you do your thing, and Gesten looks at you and just sort of pats you on the shoulder. Thank you. And turns back to their stuff. Is there anything else?
Yes, you said that Minu is the one that we should talk to?
Milieu.
Milieu.
Milyu. Milieu.
And should we tell them that you sent us?
It would be for the best.
All right. Do we get this map by force or?
Or we can just go try to buy it or like ask them for it.
I was just
How
asking.
many people do we have to kill?
I was just asking what parameters.
No, and I hope we're not killing anyone, right? Like that's not what we're here for. They asked us to find a map, not destroy the city. Come on, Railu.
Force doesn't mean murder, and I'm scared that you think it does.
What else would I think when you're the one suggesting it?
I have never murdered someone that you know of.
Yeah, sure convinced me that I'm wrong. Let's go.
Just, their store is called the Sealed Ciphers. Just, it's...
Yeah, we're going.
Thank you so much for your hospitality and all of the snacks.
Yeah, actually, while you collect more snacks, Railu, will you please clean that kitchen for me? I have a lot on my mind.
Yeah, we can totally get that done. We're gonna get that map, and I'll do it when we get back.
No.
And then Riley just scrolls out the door.
Railu. Oh no, Tina's gonna yank Railu by the back of their shirt collar.
I will roll a dexterity check.
Roll it. Contested dex. Let's see this. No adding anything. It's just contested dex.
But I have careful movement.
Oh, I did not roll that well.
I rolled it better.
This is why. No. Because you are not being careful. You are trying to dodge out of this work. You were not trying to do anything but get out. So, and you succeed. At the door.
Tiyune will start to clean and muttering under her breath about what she's going to do to Railu when she catches them.
I think Hillian starts cleaning with one hand and still eating with the other.
So, I don't know where Railu goes as the two of you spend 15, 20 minutes doing this, but they're gone. And Gesten is off in another part of the house. You don't see them to interact anymore, and they just expect you to go and do what you were told to do now. Because you've agreed, they've done what they have to. Where you're concerned, they are very distracted.
As soon as Tina's done cleaning the kitchen, she also stuffs her pockets and her sack with like all the snacks she can find. And before they head out, she will again use her indestructible scarf to tie Hillian to her so that he can't wander too far away.
Excellent. Okay, so you step out of the house. Where's Railu?
I feel like we don't even know where this place is. So Riley went to go find out where this place is.
Okay.
I just stopped and I went to talk to people.
Cool. You just walk around and grab random strangers? A
random stranger, yeah. Actually, yeah, that's what I'll do. I was gonna say Riley also didn't get in their morning exercise because they were interrupted, but yeah, I'll go. I'm just gonna grab someone and go, excuse me, do you know where the sealed cipher is?
No, leave me alone.
Ah, yes, me too.
Do a percentage roll. Let's see what happens.
Percentage rolls. It's going to be... Oh, well, I rolled it. I'll re-roll it again. Let's go high. I think it's a 47. Yeah, 47. So low.
So, nope. You don't find anyone who is willing to talk to you this morning. Do you want to maybe try doing your exercise and see if that lures anyone in?
I'm actually... I don't know how long it's going to take them to clean.
15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'll just start... I'll start doing my morning exercises in front of the place on the little balcony or wherever.
Okay. You'll do that, and yeah, roll percentage again, high or low.
Cool.
See if you draw someone in.
It's me. Let's do low. 31. Low it is.
Okay. So yeah, you get like 2 people just sort of standing around watching you, and I'm sure your performance is great, because you're not really performing. I don't even know. Do you notice them?
If I do notice them, I think I do, because who's one to put on a show but me? And the minute I notice them, it stops being practice and becomes a performance.
Okay. You do your show, and I would say you do just fine. And do you wrap it up as soon as you see Tiyune and Hillian step out, leashed together?
Yes, because I know Tiyune will trip me if I don't. Like, this has happened before, or interrupt me. I don't want to take the option from Jess, but it's happened before where, like, we're supposed to be doing something and I'm putting on a show and, like, somehow one of my weapons disappears, or all of a sudden there's a stick in my way or something.
Or Hillian comes and asks for a snack.
Or Hillian comes and asks for a snack, so I wrap it up with a flourish.
And for those of you who did not see the Foley work that Jessica was doing, it was all innocence and what Misa motions with their hands and just innocent face. Yeah, believable.
I can't believe anyone would accuse me of trying to mess with Railu's performance. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I've never been anything but nice to Railu. I can't believe anyone would have any reason to suspect anything other than just sweet politeness is all I'm saying.
And you can find those clips of Jess's action probably on the EQP Twitter at EQ Points.
You might find this one. That innocent one was pretty good. Yeah, so you stop, and the two people who are there they clap and toss some coins at you. You know, so you have maybe you get like 5 shins total. So
Nice.
it's pretty decent. They start to walk away. Do you want to stop them and maybe talk to them, or?
No, now that everyone's here, I'm good.
So you're looking for a place called the Sealed Ciphers. It's a shop owned by Gesten's friend Milnu, which is super fun to say over and over and over again. I'm glad I chose that name. Perfect. They gave you no more information because they were distracted and nobody pushed them on it. So where are you going? What are you doing?
Maybe like almost a strip mall isn't the right word for it, but basically like a place where we can find shopping of some sort. And Tiyune would probably want to start there. And even if Sealed Ciphers isn't in like a shopping area, hopefully the other like store owners would at least know where some of the other shops were.
That's fair. There are these little market spaces on every level of Ephremond's Tree City. And so the one where you all are is not very far from where you originally met Gesten. So if you want to head that way, you can head that way.
Yeah, Tiyune will lead the way back to the marketplace and just look around to see if she sees a place called Sealed Ciphers, and if not, just like pick a store to walk into.
Sounds good. I just need to look up one thing, which I'm super excited about.
Oh no.
What? No, nothing bad.
Can I just say that I love how Railu was trying to do emotional support and consoling when that is Hillian's ballywick.
I was a little shocked by that myself.
I was like, would Hillian help? No, he's hungry.
Railu is thinks they're really good because my rolls suck at getting people that are important to like them.
As you are heading towards this marketplace, I would like to offer Tiyune / Jessica the opportunity for a GM intrusion.
Sure.
Okay, so that's mark 1 experience and gift 1 experience. What the GM intrusion is before you do this, so you can decide who is the better person to. As you're walking along, someone stops just dead in their tracks and looks at you. You recognize them as the guard from the gate who you allowed to assume that you are from House Farine. They immediately start walking towards you. Very businesslike in appearance. We will go from there. Who would you like to gift your experience to?
I'm gonna give it to Railu because even though they're completely useless, they're the one who's most likely to be helpful in this situation, since Hillian is only thinking about how hungry he is.
Okay. Now,
I mean, Hillian could be used for a distraction.
That's
Just
very
saying.
true.
That guard has snacks.
That is a very good point. But I'll go with Railu for now because hopefully, for once, their silver tongue will get us out of something.
cool. The guard comes over and says, I beg your pardon, Madam of the Farine, but I need to get your first name, as I did not mark it on the list. and it is a bit of a problem.
Oh, why is it a problem?
I was a bit overwhelmed by seeing someone of your stature, and it impacted on my performance. We are to get everyone's names when they enter, and I failed in my duty. I am so grateful to have found you. If you would please provide me your first name, I can go and turn that into my guard captain, and it just be done. I am terribly sorry to interrupt you in your business. Please forgive the intrusion.
Would Railu know, as their history, what a proper bribe for a city guard would be?
You can roll for it.
Oh yeah, Riley was the wrong choice. I would like to roll separately from that to see if I would know like the naming conventions of the area, to see if she could like pluck a name out of the air that would sound like a plausible name for someone from House Furian.
Oh, okay. So you do know how much a standard bribe is, but Tiyune, I would love for you to roll it. I'm going to make this a... it's pretty difficult because you didn't even know about Ephremon before coming here. Like, you knew nothing about it. So it's going to be a TD6. Do you have anything to bring that down, make that easier for you?
No, all I have really is understanding Numenera. So unless this house is somehow tied closely to Numenera.
Nope. And you have a negative to deception, so that makes it even harder. I did not know that. So yeah, that's going to make it a TD7, which is 21. So unless you've got an asset of some sort, I don't think it's possible for you to make this.
No, it's not. But I will apply an effort just in case.
This would be an amazing nat 20.
It's not going to happen. Yeah.
Oh, no. What name do you give them?
Since I can't think of like a good, like what the naming conventions might be, I'm just going to say Tiyune.
Okay. And I see.
Railu wants to step forward now.
Okay.
What is the proper bribe for a guard, a city guard?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to bribe them for. In this case, are you trying to get them to pretend you haven't seen Tiyune? To forget that this happened? Are you trying to bribe them to put in a different name for Tiyune so that it all just goes away? What bribe are you trying to give?
This is everything I ever do turns into a disaster, so let's keep going. Railu steps forward, and not aggressively, but just steps forward with where they can whisper to this guard and says, Lady Farine goes by many names in many cities, and I would absolutely hate for the one that makes them feel safest to make it on the city record. Is there any way that you could perhaps come up with another? And I'm going to like slip money into their hand appropriate to whatever I thought that bribe would be.
I don't know how much money you have on your person, so let's roll percentage dice, and whatever the percentage is how much money you would have to slip them to get them to accept your bribe.
Okay.
They have 80 something. Or actually, I guess it would be like over 100 because we split Hillian's take from the Soldanian instead of giving it to him so he didn't lose it.
Well, just roll the percentage. Let's see how much it is. And then you can decide if you're doing all of it or if you're trying to get away with less.
Could I roll a social thing first to see if maybe they'll be like, oh, I would hate to offend, or like something along those lines?
No, I think we're at the point since Tiyune gave the name they gave. Yeah, so it'd be 75% of the shins you have.
Oh, that's the percentage. I thought that was going to be the number.
Yeah, it's the percentage of how much coinage you have.
Oh, jeez.
So you can give up 75% of your shins for this, or knowing it's appropriate to be 75%, you can then do a social roll to either intimidate them out of it or get them to go along with whatever you say?
I'll do the 75%. I'm fine with us being safe in the city.
Wow, I did not expect that at all. Okay, sure. So just deduct 75% of your shins?
We've gone this long with no money.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Okay, so they take the shins and they shake your hand quite vigorously, and they're like, oh, it is so nice to meet a civilized person in this city. It is, you have no idea how hard it is to build up a nest egg to get married. And, you know, all of these people who, they just have no sense of what is appropriate. I appreciate you so much, fine sir. It is no doubt the reason that you are attached to this fine Lady Farine. I apologize. Is lady your preferred title?
I don't really have a preferred title. I actually prefer not to be addressed at all.
Immediately turns back to Railu and says, it is, I truly appreciate knowing such an august personage as yourself. My name is Marvel. If you need anything, please just do not hesitate to ask. And they just pocket the money very, very easily, and they wait to see if you need anything else before walking away.
all Railu says is, Marvel, may you and your family have most safe travels, as we hope to have on our trip here as well.
Well, we have you though, Marvel. Any idea where Sealed Ciphers is?
They do not even look at you. They continue looking at Railu and they say, ah, Sealed Ciphers. I am familiar with this. I believe it is on this level of the market. If you were to continue down this pathway, take the second ladder up, and then the swing to the right will take you directly to the door of that particular store. Is there anything else I can do for you, august personage, Railu?
And Railu cocks an ear as if deferring to Tiyune. And if Tiyune doesn't have anything, I'll lean forward and say, just to know where we can find you again, Marvel, shall we need your friendship again?
This is my area of patrol during the day, and in the afternoons, I am at the gate entrance that you found me in. Some nights I can be found down at one of the drinking establishments. Definitely not somewhere you would ever want to be. It's in sort of it's in the roots, and I am certain someone of your stature would never come looking for down there.
Thank you so much, Marvel. May you and your family be safe.
Thank you. And then they bow very obsequiously and move away from you. But you can tell there's like a spring in their step. They are quite pleased with this bribe and very, very excited. You have made their day.
And an ally, mwahaha.
Indeed, your social experience in cities came in handy for you. Well played.
What's that like?
Ooh, that was an expensive one, though. Oh my goodness.
Well, at least we got out of this one without a fire and a stampede.
Yeah, that cost me 100 shins, so like, yeah.
Whew, ouchies. But cool, well done. I'm actually going to mark down that Marvel, any social, actually put this as an asset, that anytime you work with Marvel, it's Marvil, this guard in Ephremon, you have an asset in convincing them to do anything you want, and future bribes will be less.
Got it.
All right. So, do you head off to Minyu's store?
Yep.
Does Hillian have anything that they
No,
anything with
Hillian?
being distracted by?
No, I don't think so.
You all make it to the store, and you stop and you see this storefront that is very bright and colorful and filled with many wonderful scents. There's incense sticks all around the outside. It looks very welcoming. There are fabrics of many colors. There are exotic snacks. You see all this stuff from the outside, and it is quite inviting. That is where we will stop for today. As always, I am Kelric, your narrator, and this has been our Qmenera game. I hope you're enjoying it. You can find me here. You can find me on our Starfinder show playing a very high cat person, space psychic, ridiculous character who is hilarious on our Starfinder show. And you can find me on Twitter at EQPoints or at Cormallon. That's CORMALLON.
I'm Jess. You can find me on Twitter at WriteJessR, WRITEJESSR, or you can find all of the various podcasts and streams and everything that I do on my website, writejess.com, including the 2 things that have come out since our last recording, Beyond the Basics and Villains and Lairs 4, which are both available on the DM's Guild, and again, also on my website, where you can also find all the other things I've published.
Amazing.
My name's Aaron. You can find me at Space Persona on Twitter, and follow us at EQ Points because I don't have any other plugs.
And you can find me on Twitter at Punderdrone. And yeah, follow at EQ Points for everything else that I'm involved in.
Thank you so much, and as always, we hope to see you here, hang out with you next time. I'm Kelric. Bye.
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 Thank you so much for listening to Qmenera, an Experience Points podcast. Are your ears burning for another podcast? We cannot recommend enough checking out our sister podcast, Roll to Fail. There are 6 friends who have no business behind the mic, or even rolling dice. If you like what we create, then you should check out our other 2 podcasts. The original Experience Points podcast is a Starfinder game that releases every Wednesday. Thank you so much for listening.
Be gay. Roll dice.
An LGBTQIA actual play podcast network.
Hello and welcome to St. Fleur, where the city is modern, the fantasy is urban, and the faction politics are at an all-time high. Join us in Shadows of St. Fleur as we follow the wizard, Alistair Lockwood.
Regret to inform you, I'm not a wizard. I am a master of the arcane arts.
The scholar, Jeremiah Roderick Crawford.
I'm an earl, you know, and you're a baron. Those words carry some weight.
The wolf, Victor Margaret.
Victor stands on the bridge in the cold. Fuck.
The fae who is known only as Silk.
Do we know if this was a standard mugging?
And the vamp, Alex Giroux.
Quite. Because the first time the door opens, I'm going to push her out.
Through their experience in the city. Shadows of St. Fleur is an Urban Shadows actual play podcast with a majority LGBTQ+ cast playing characters finding their way through faction politics, all in pursuit of their own individual goals. Find it wherever you listen to podcasts.